Hello, welcome to Triple Threat. I am Iman Abraham, your host, and today we have a special guest, one of our very own Panthers, and a new one at that. We have our freshman, Jada. How are you today?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm good. I'm so happy that you're here.
Thanks for having me.
Of course, of course. So, how has it been being able to come into a championship team?
It feels really good. I came here because I knew that the program was a winning program, and I really wanted to win, and it feels great being a part of a winning program.
Yes, to bring home a sixth SWAC championship, I'm sure it feels amazing.
It does.
And I'm happy that you guys' bowling team has continued a legacy, continue to bring home those wins. And I just want to know, where did it all start with you? When did you decide to take up bowling?
So I started bowling when I was around 5 or 6 years old. It's always been a thing on my dad's side of the family. They'd always go out and bowl, and, we have family reunions all the time. We take up half the bowling center, and it's just been something that I continued to take on with me as I get older.
Yeah, and I'm sure that means you have a very competitive bowling side growing up.
Yes, I do.
And I know you mentioned earlier with your little sister bowling as well. Mm-hmm. How was that dynamic with you guys both bowling?
Oh, we're competitive. We're always like, I'm going to beat you. No, I beat you, things like that. But I'm very supportive of her, and I'm so happy for her. She's actually going to University of Health Sciences and Pharmacy in Missouri.
That's awesome. I love that. I wish I had somebody to play with. My dad, beating up on my dad got tiring. No, but what made you want to come to Prairie View?
So I originally knew nothing about Prairie View.
Mm-hmm.
I was actually at a tournament called Junior Gold in Grand Rapids, Michigan, and there was a coach that kept following me, and he finally pulled us aside, and he was like, have you heard of Prairie View? And I was like, no, I knew nothing about it. Mm-hmm. And so he just kind of gave me, the layout of the school and mm-hmm. things like that. And I came here on my visit, and I just loved the campus, loved the rooms and everything like that. And it was also a winning program, and I was sold.
That's awesome. And coming into your recruiting process, I'm sure you had different looks. Was it an HBCU that really drew your attention?
Yes, my initial thing was to go to an HBCU because I feel like going to an HBCU, there's more people who care about your education and don't just look at you as like, oh, that other black girl,
mm-hmm.
They want you to succeed in life.
Yeah, because do you think bowling is a predominantly white sport?
I would say it kind of is, and I feel like black women in bowling are very underrepresented and very undervalued, and I feel as though we do the same things as the white girls will do, and if not better, and mm-hmm. we're just underlooked, and it's sad, but it happens.
Yeah, it happens in bowling, and I understand coming from a predominantly white sport like golf as well, so I get it, and I'm happy that you came here. So coming to a HBCU, coming onto a team where you feel included, do you think that helps with your performance?
I think yes, it really does, because it feels like there's girls like me, there's girls who can do the same thing as me, and they're cheering me on, and they want me to succeed. They're not looking at me to have a downfall or anything like that. It just feels good to feel included.
Yeah. And speaking of your team, is there any type of culture or dynamic that your coach and your team has created for your team to be so successful?
Yes. So we always do this thing where we always tell each other we win as a team, we lose as a team. It's nobody's fault. And we always just want to make everybody feel loved and feel as though, they're welcome here. And we never want to make anybody feel bad. So we're really close.
That's good to know. And speaking of that and having a good team, having a good dynamic, how was your first season?
So my first season, it began off, it was a little bit rocky at first, not even going to lie.
Yes.
It was a little rocky, but the second semester, it really got a lot better and started winning more awards and things like that. So I feel I'm very happy with the way my first year has gone so far.
Yeah, and when you had that rocky first season, what was going through your mind? What was driving you to do better?
Well, because I know I love the sport, and I'm not a person to give up.
Mm-hmm.
I love to keep pushing forward, and that's the thing with bowling. It gives you a real mental challenge, and so I pushed through it with the rest of the girls, and I told them, we can't give up. We just got to keep going and pushing through all the challenges and things that we have to face.
Yeah, I like that. I think that's very important to just keep pushing. And you did, yes. Which led to you having multiple wins in your spring season. Yes. Had freshman of the year, yes. You had your first win, and then, of course, the SWAC championship. So tell me what was going through your head during your first win.
So during my first win, So we had a strike fest, and it was the first bowler to 100, and that was basically my first win of the season.
Yeah.
I was the first one to 100 strikes, and then going on, with the team and stuff, feeling the win, a SWAC championship, that was just an amazing feeling. Like, if it's going to be on ESPN on Monday, and you'll see us all start to cry. It was just such an amazing feeling, coming from having a rocky first half of the season and coming back and just persevering and winning SWAC championship was just awesome.
Yes, I love that. And do you have a favorite win out of all of them?
Yes, I do. Freshman of the year, easily.
Okay.
I felt so accomplished. It feels good to finally, feel good about yourself and know that you are good and that, you can do it. And that award just really made me feel amazing.
Yeah. All your work paid off.
Yes, it did.
That's awesome. And moving forward, going into, next season, I know you guys have one more tournament until it's off season.
Yes.
So what is an off season like for you?
For me, I usually eat, sleep, bowl, repeat. And I usually work out occasionally too, because it's always good to stay active. You don't want your body tensing up or, not being used to what it normally does, when we're in season. So yeah. Eat, sleep, bowl, repeat.
That's awesome. Do you have any rest days? Do you like to take some time to yourself sometimes?
Yes, I do. I have days where I just go out and enjoy me, have a little spa day, go get your hair done, nails done, things like that, and sleep.
Yes. Rest is very important because you guys travel for it's not like a one-day thing. You guys travel for a few days, right?
Yes. So we usually will leave on Thursdays. We leave on Thursdays, and we usually don't come back till Sunday. So, travel a lot.
That is a lot. So, speaking of traveling, we will soon come back, and we're going to go to a quick commercial break, and then we're going to talk more with Jada and her wins. Welcome back to Triple Threats. I'm your host, Iman Abraham, and we have our amazing special guest, Jada, with us. So, speaking of traveling and winning tournaments, let's talk about SWAC. So, how was that experience, knowing that your team already won before and coming in as a freshman? What was going through your head?
It was very exciting, actually. I'm a very competitive person, so being in a very competitive, place, and it was just amazing. I was like, oh, I'm competitive, and all these competitive people, and I was like, oh, I really like this atmosphere. And then when we won, I was just blown away. I was very happy.
Yeah, I'm sure. And when you play fourth and fifth, right?
Yes.
Because you guys just have a lineup of 5.
Yes.
And when did you play fourth or fifth during SWAC?
Yes, I was fourth throughout the whole tournament. Yeah.
Okay, nice. So when you do that, do you have a preparation or routine or process that you like to go through?
So I usually have what we call a pre-bowl routine. So basically, before I go up, I take a deep breath, and I usually have a rosin bag, just to get my hands, And I usually will pick up the ball, wipe it off, and then I'll walk up to the approach, and then I'll tell myself, you got it, you can do it, relax, and then I go.
That's good. Yeah. I like that. And when your process, did it take you a while to figure out what worked for you, or do you guys all have different processes?
Yes, everybody has a different process. For me, really didn't take long for me to find my process because
Mm-hmm.
I've sometimes been very anxious. So I told myself, just take a deep breath, relax, and that really helped me moving on forward with my career.
That's awesome. And speaking of moving on with your career, do you have any future goals or anything that you're looking forward to?
Yes, I really want to be a radiologist, pursuing to be a doctor.
Yes.
And I would love to be on the professional women's bowling tour at some point in my life, but I really want to be a radiologist more than go on the tour, but being on the tour is also an option.
Yeah, of course. And what's the process like that, getting on to the tour for bowling?
So basically getting on the tour, me personally, I don't know too much about it, but I know it's a very competitive, it's a very competitive place. A lot of things are televised, and it's just a goal that I really hope to achieve one day.
Yeah, that's awesome. And of course, radiologist. So what do you have to do to be a radiologist?
You have to go through med school, do your residencies, just like any doctor, really. It's kind of just the same process.
Okay. And what made you want to choose that out of all the other doctors?
So I was in high school, and we were doing a unit about x-rays and looking at broken bones and x-rays and stuff, and I was like, I really find this fascinating. And it's kind of a career where you're not really in people's faces, you're kind of just back, sitting quiet. You come in and you're just like, yeah, this happened, and this is what's wrong with you, and then you go.
That's cool. So you found something that you really enjoy.
Yes.
And speaking of that, you come in freshman year, I'm sure you have a big workload because you're probably a biology major, right?
Yes.
And how do you find the balance with all that bowling, school, and social life?
So the first semester is usually really short for us. We only have a couple of tournaments, so it was quite easy to balance everything. We got to the second semester, and it was really hard. But once you find your balance, I kind of just, was like, okay, I need to plan everything out. I have practice at this time. I have class at this time. Just putting in a planner, saying, hey, you need to get this, and this done. And you need to get it done by this time, or else you're going to have no time. Because once you fall behind, it's really hard to catch back up.
Yeah, I agree with that. And do you make time for your mental health during those times?
Oh, absolutely.
Yes. So
My mental health is number one.
I love that. So what are some of the ways that you like to take care of your mental health?
Me, I love doing puzzles. I do puzzles a lot. I like to listen to music, and for me, something that really keeps me calm, I like to clean. I just like to go around and clean anything that I can.
That's hilarious because my teammates love to do that too, so it calms them down a lot.
Yeah, cleaning is very calm.
Yes. So some good music. Yeah. But so speaking of mental health, has there ever been a time where you were really down that you used your practices that really helped you?
Yeah, so we had a tournament in Florida. It didn't quite go as well for me. It was mentally straining for me. But again, I had great teammates who helped me through it, and I took time off and, relaxed my mind. And spring break, when we had spring break, I flew back home.
Yeah.
And I just needed that time to just recuperate, because your mental health always comes first. If you're not good in the head, nothing else is going to be good for you.
Yeah, I agree with that. And it shows. I feel like it can definitely impact your performance sometimes when you're not mentally prepared or in the right state of mind either.
Yes.
So has there ever been a time where you noticed that it was taking an impact on your performance?
Yes. There has been multiple occasions, but the most recent one was Florida, like I said. It was just not happening. It was just one of those days. It was just not happening. Yeah. And I saw it. It really affected me. And I love what I do. And so I hate when things go downhill. And it took a toll on me. But, it's just with any sport. You're always going to have those times where things go bad. But when bad things happen, it only makes you stronger. Yeah, I agree. And you talked about your teammates having, your back and helping you through those times. How was your relationship with your coach? We have a good relationship. Sometimes we talk, sometimes we don't, Like, he'll put me in the office and, have, conversations with me and things like that. But he's a great coach. That's awesome. And what was your first impression when you first met him? Because you met him before, right? I told, when I first met him, he was very, convincing. When he was telling me about the school, he's really good at persuading. I was like, okay, so you, persuade anybody to do anything. But I'm thinking, he seems like a good coach. He seems like a good person.
Yeah. So you're glad with your decision coming
Yes.
to Prairie View?
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm happy that you're here.
Thank you.
And speaking of that, like, do you have any advice that you would like to give to any future bowlers out there?
Anything is possible if you put your mind to it. And especially girls of color, you know, we're underrepresented and very undervalued in a lot of sports. And I just want every little black girl to know that you can do anything that anybody else can do. And there's a girl called Gasmin Mason, or
Yes.
Gigi. She creates, her whole social media is based on empowering and letting people know about the greatness that black women and black athletes are doing. And I love her so much.
Yeah. So is she with someone that inspired you?
Yes. Because usually when you watch the PBA tour, you don't really see a lot of girls like us. And seeing Gigi go up there and do everything that she could do, it really inspired me to do good and just keep doing good in my sport.
Yes. Well, I love that. And I love that there are other people out there. And I'm really glad that you're on this show.
Thank you.
Because I want to highlight you and your greatness and all your achievements.
Thank you.
And thank you guys so much for tuning in and watching this amazing episode. And I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor to shout out your social medias and to have anybody want to follow you.
Gotcha. So my Instagram is _Jadaboo, JAYDABOOO. I think that's 4 O's. Yeah.
Yes.
My Snapchat is it's.jadaboo, the same way. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. I only have Instagram and Snapchat.
Okay.
Oh,
good.
and TikTok too. Same thing.
Yeah, so guys, please go follow her and keep up. And please make sure you're supporting our amazing bowling team to make sure they bring home a 7th SWAC championship next year.
Yes.
So thank you guys so much for watching. And I'm Iman Abraham. This is Triple Threat, and tune in next week for more.